So today I'm going to be creating a new world map. We're getting rid of all the borders and all the countries in the world, and we're just going to start new and make a brand new map. I'm going to try my best to not make it look like the old world map and to fill it with as many nations as possible. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel, and let's start. So starting off, we're going to be in North America. Now when I look at the Caribbean, I think that there could be some kind of empire down there with parts of North America under their control. Cuba, Hispaniola, and Puerto Rico and Jamaica could all be under one nation, and then they could also control parts of North America, such as like the Yucatan Peninsula and Florida. So here's our little Caribbean nation. They have a part of Florida, and they also have the Yucatan Peninsula and a part of Central America. This also consists of all the islands over here, but they aren't included in this map. Now speaking of this map, I had to trace this map, so this entire thing is a trace of a normal world map because I could not find just a blank world map online. So yeah, that took a lot of time. Anyway, jumping over to Central America real quick, I think that we could do like one big united Central American nation. Now this isn't based off the one in real life. Was there one in real life? It was sort of a thing in real life. It was under Spain, but we're going to remake that. Now remember, this has nothing to do with the old world map, so this is going to be a new United Provinces of Central America. I'm also going to give it a little bit of land in South America too, so they can have a little bit of Colombia. And I'm going to actually end them off right here instead of going any further, because I feel like if I had them like all the way up here, that it would look kind of weird with the Central American nation right here. And then over here, I'm going to make another nation. So this is going to consist of a little bit of Pacific coast like that. And it's going to be in southern Mexico and Guatemala. So here's our new world map so far. We have a Central American nation. We have the Caribbean Empire kind of thing. And we have the southern Mexico and Guatemala kind of nation right now. Coming over to Eastern America, I think we could do some kind of big power that's controlling the southeast of the United States. So starting over here next to the Mississippi, I'm not sure where it is on this map, but it's going to go up the Mississippi, and then it's going to cut over a little bit, and then we're going to bring it back down and around, and probably just split Virginia into two like that. So now we have a big southeastern US kind of nation thing. It's not the United States. Like I said, this is a blank world map without any of the old nations. And then above that, I'm going to make them a rival. So it's kind of like the US Civil War, kind of. But I'm going to put another new nation just above them right here. It's going to consist of a little bit of Wisconsin. It's going to go up into the Great Lake area. And then over near the Hudson Bay, but it's not going to touch it. And then it's going to go back down and end off right here. So when I draw borders, I kind of just randomly free draw it. So if they look kind of weird, which these are looking kind of weird, that's why it's random. So anyway, coming back over to the Hudson Bay, I think that there could be a nation that surrounds the Hudson Bay and is just mainly focused on that. So I'm going to start off where this border ends kind of and just bring that up and over and bring it up into the northern Canadian islands up here. So already we have three big nations in the US. They are the southeastern nation, we have the northern kind of northeastern nation, and then we have the Hudson nation. As for Alaska and all this frozen tundra up here, I think that they could have some kind of coastal empire kind of thing starting down here in Washington and then kind of just going crazy out here. Now they could have fought some wars with some other nation that was right here, so I'm not really sure what the state of their border would be. Probably definitely not around. I think it's time that we start making some smaller nations, so let's just make some small ones over here in Texas. So we have this one right here, and then we'll do one above it, sort of. Now that state down there could have broken off because this kind of looks like it could be one big state. And then we'll do like a really small one right here. And then we'll do a long one coming down the Gulf of Mexico. And then over here in California, we'll do one coming down to right there. And then we'll do another nation surrounding the, I don't know what this area of water is called, but Baja California. And then we have all this land right here, which I'm just going to split in two. So starting right here, it's going to come down and it's going to go in kind of a little bit, and then it's going to meet out right there. So this is our North America. Now this might seem really weird, and that's just because we're not used to seeing North America look anything like this. I don't really know if this idea is fun for you guys to watch, so if you guys are like liking this, then make sure to let me know, because I'm not sure. This is fun for me, but that's because I'm making it out of my memory, or not my memory, but my head. And I don't know if it's fun for you to watch, so let me know in the comments. Coming over to Greenland real quick, I just want to make like the populated area its own little thing. I'm not really sure if I'm throwing population out the window, since this isn't the world that we're used to. Population could be completely different. Let's just say that I'm going to throw it out the window, but in some cases I'll pull it back in. It's really hard to make a new world map when you're so used to the normal one. I think it would be also kind of fun to make some like disputed land. So like right here we could have some disputed land Like they can't agree over who owns this, so like that. Anyway, jumping on down to South America, I forgot to color in Tobago, but anyway, let's make we'll just make one going all the way over like this. And then I kind of want to have like a big power that isn't in Brazil in South America. So let's just like take all of Western, oh my gosh, I had to think about that for a second. But let's take all of Western Brazil, Peru, Ecuador, and parts of Bolivia and Chile, and let's just make it into one big nation. Then coming down to Argentina, all this is kind of frozen, sort of. So let's just like make it into one nation that is just like a southern South American nation. We'll just do something like this. Then we can make like a nation up here that just covers most of northern South America, like that. And then we can make some micronations, or micro as in like just smaller than normal. So we can make some small ones here and there, kind of just wherever we want. So something like that. Straight lines are sometimes nice, not all the time. Most of the time, no. But sometimes they do like relieve some of the crazy borders. It also shows that there's been some kind of conflict or war there. So throwing in straight lines just kind of makes more sense, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to fill in the rest of South America here. I really don't want to make one big nation because that's kind of boring. But at the same time, it's easier. But having smaller nations means that there's probably more history behind the area. So here's our South America. You see here we have the biggest nation, probably the most powerful one over here in the Peru area. Then we have the one up here, which is in northern. We have part of the Central American nation over here in South America. We have a bunch of little small nations over here just to kind of spice it up a little bit. And then over here, I thought that I would make some kind of disputed land thing between 3 countries instead of 2. Now, I don't really know how valuable this land right here is in real life, so I'm not sure if they're really fighting over anything that's valuable. But this is an alternative world, so it could be anything. So here we have the new world so far. It's very different looking from what we're used to. Instead of having one big superpower that has influence over the entire region, like in real life we had the United States having a lot of influence over North America and a little bit over South America. Here we have just a bunch of nations competing for that influence maybe. Of course, I could expand this into like an alternative scenario and make it into a bunch of wars and stuff. If you guys would be interested in seeing that, then let me know in the comments. Also, real quick, we hit 5,000 subscribers. We hit it before I uploaded the last video, but I recorded the last video before we hit it. So that's why I didn't say anything there. I said something in the community post and in my Discord server. And yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for that. That is halfway to 10,000, which is crazy. So thank you for that, and let's go ahead and start in Europe. Going over to Iceland real quick, I think it's probably logical if we just have one nation on Iceland, but most of the population is like over here, so let's just cut that off, and I'm using the wrong thing. So let's just cut that off and make it its own nation, and then the rest of this can just be whatever. And then starting over here in the UK, I'm not really sure what to do here. Now if I split it in half, it's just going to look like England, Wales, and Scotland. But just remember, this isn't Scotland. This is just a different nation. This is a different timeline. I'm just going to make it a little bit different like that. And then this nation right here is actually going to control a bit of the coastline in Europe. So it's going to control a little bit of France. And that's all. So they just have control over the British Channel. Let's make a nation that's not as big. So we'll just do something like this. And then the same thing in Africa. So we'll do that. We'll do like a straight line. And then we'll do something that meets up right there. So there's Iberia. Coming over to France, we can make a nation that kind of follows the coast. So like that. And then we can have like a really big nation kind of. So that goes over the Alps. It covers a little bit of Germany, all of Benelux. And then it can end right there. So I'm going to like split the bottom half into its own thing because that's where most of the population is. And then we can follow the mountains all the way up in Norway, trying not to completely rip off Norway here. And then over here we can have a nation that kind of just like dips down and controls all of this. I'm also going to have this nation right here controlling the entrance into the Baltic Sea where Denmark is. So we can just draw another line that goes like this and ends right there. I guess we could just skip over that for now. Let's come over to Poland and Lithuania. And not make Poland Lithuania, but make some other kind of nation over here. It's going to be kind of big. So we can do that. We can bring it all the way out and just kind of put it right there. Like I said, this might look really weird because I'm not really 100% sure how to draw borders right. This is kind of I guess a fantasy map or an alternative map or whatever you want to call it. This is in the Balkan area, but we're going to ignore that. Let's just do a border dispute right here, so like that. All right, so there is a majority of Europe. We just don't have this Russian part over here. So this is what Europe looks like, and if we zoom out, this is what the world map looks like so far. I definitely don't see any kind of resemblance to the real world map, So that's a good sign. You guys might see some resemblance. I personally, I don't see any. So it's time to move on to the Middle East. So keep in mind this isn't relating to the real world map. So the problems down here aren't problems here. So with Turkey, I kind of want to rip off the Byzantine Empire. It might have been the Ottomans. I'm pretty sure it's the Byzantines, but we can just kind of rip them off and make like a little bit of Western Turkey into its own thing. Then we can come over here and just split up the rest of Turkey into its own thing. So we'll have one nation going down into Syria and Lebanon? No, just Syria. Oh, that looks interesting. I'm not sure how that would work. I don't know how the geography is over here. I know right here is desert, so we have to think about that when we move on down here. Anyway, coming over here to where the Suez Canal is, let's just make one nation that controls all of this area over here, so they can go like that. I don't know, straight lines, I know a lot of people really dislike them. And I haven't really said this before, but in my main like mapping video, which is the biggest one, it's the fixing the borders of the United States. That video was a joke. In the video, I look really dead serious, and I kind of wanted to imply that I was serious, but overall, it's a joke. Like I put a lot of straight lines. I said that I didn't want to do river borders, but then like I did river borders, or the opposite of that. But I said a lot of things, and then I ended up doing them. The whole point of that video, it was a joke. But anyway, back to the straight lines thing. I feel like that sometimes straight lines are good, because if you have all these squiggly borders, it just kind of gets boring to look at sometimes. Like Europe, I didn't do any straight lines other than like in the Balkans right here and some other places, I think. No, I didn't. So it proves my point better. So like this kind of looks boring, whereas if you come over here to South America, which has some straight lines, it just looks a lot more interesting. Tell me what you guys think about straight lines in the comments. If you have the same opinion as me, just let me know. If you think straight lines are just terrible, let me know. And if you only like straight lines, then you're kind of weird. Anyway, moving on to Africa, I'm going to be doing a lot better than the Europeans here. So starting off, I want to make a really powerful African nation. So I think if we just take all of Northern Africa and throw it under one nation, it will look pretty cool. So we can just do something like that. I know you couldn't see that because of the face cam. I'm always checking my other screen to make sure that you can see it. And sometimes I don't, so I apologize. Anyway, here we have the big African nation. This is probably going to be really powerful because it has all of this coast up here. Moving over to northwestern Africa, let's just divide it up into some smaller kind of nations. I know some of this is in the desert, so it may not make sense at all. Speaking of the Saharan desert, let's just make one big country that engulfs a majority of it. So we can do something like this and just bring it up and over and just end it off right there. Coming over here to Western Africa, we can make it a lot better than the Europeans simply by just making bigger nations and having less. Also going to throw in a border dispute, because border disputes are very fun things, so we can do like that. Now these nations are kind of looking repetitive, so I don't really know what to do about that. I can make some smaller ones here and there, so like that, but I really don't want to make it as crazy looking as it is in real life. Also, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but these aren't going to be falling rivers, obviously. So I think we could just make the Saharan desert into like its own thing. I don't know who wants to control this. Personally, I don't think anyone would want to control this because it's like nothing. But yeah, there we go. There's like the Saharan desert. Whoever wants to own that, then go ahead. So coming over here to the Horn of Africa, I think that Africa could have another superpower down over here. Okay, so I decided just to split the lake in half. So there's that. And then for the rest of Africa, I'm not sure what I should do. This could be the European part of Africa, so we could just have straight lines everywhere, like bam, 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 and then bam, 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 bam. Yeah, European time. That was a joke. I'm not actually going to do that. And there we go. That does it for Africa. So we have the big superpower over here in the Mediterranean. Then we have like the Horn of Africa nation right here that's probably really strong. And the rest is up for debate. I'm not really sure where the most powerful nations would be. Anyway, zooming out to the world map. This is what we have so far. And it looks very different from what we're used to. Obviously, because it is totally different. I've already been doing this for 44 minutes and we still have 2 continents left. So I'm going to try my best to do this as quickly as possible because I have to record 2 more videos after this and then edit all 3 of them in like 3 days because I'm going on vacation. So yeah, I had to get through this quickly, but still making it kind of quality. So coming back over here to Russia, let's just make one nation right here that surrounds all of this land right here. And then coming over to like the Caucasus area, we can do a nation right here, kind of going around the Caspian Sea like that. And then coming over here to Iran, we can do something that comes down and then goes into Pakistan and comes over like this. So we have that. For over here in northern Russia, we can do one nation that kind of just follows the Arctic coast up here like this, and then we can divide up the Caspian Sea right here. We're gonna make this a lot better than it is in real life, because like the Stan area, it has really bad borders. Now there isn't a lot of things over here in Central Asia, so I can make these kind of bigger than normal. For India, we're going to divide it up a little bit, so we'll have something that goes like that. And then in Southeast Asia, I like the idea of Siam, so we're going to make that again, except we're going to have it have a little bit more land. For all these islands right here, I'm going to have them all under one thing, except for this right here. This is going to be under Siam. So all of these islands over here are going to be under one nation, and then Philippines can just be the Philippines. Coming over to like where Korea is, we can make one nation over here that kind of takes over a little bit of China. So it's going to go up and then have a straight line, because like I said earlier, straight lines are sometimes nice. So here we have Asia so far. I've just been kind of dividing it up, trying to make it look a little bit more unique. These borders are kind of wacky. Like I said, I've been trying to make them a little bit more unique, but that's proving to be a little bit difficult. I'm going to make West Virginia randomly real quick, so let's just do that. I don't know why, but now we have West Virginia in Asia. Alright, so here we have all of Asia. Yeah, there isn't many tiny states here, and it's kind of all random. So I tried my best, but Alright, moving on down to Oceana. Now for Australia, I would just make it one big thing. That's kind of boring though, so let's do our own thing. By that I mean we're going to divide it up into like east and west. So we have all of Western Australia over here, and then we have all of Eastern Australia over here. We'll have like a Northern Australia coming down into the outback area. And yeah, that's all I'm doing for Australia. For New Zealand, I mean, you're not going to be able to see this, but these are going to be two separate nations like this. And yeah, that's going to do it for my world map. So I have no idea if you guys like this video. It's kind of different in a way, but at the same time, it's kind of the same as what I usually do. I can make these nations battle and go to war and stuff like that. So if you're interested in seeing something like that, then tell me in the comments. Thank you guys for watching this video. I have a Discord server if you want to join it. It's linked in the description. Make sure to drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video.